What's happening, my friend? My name's David and welcome to my YouTube channel. And in this video I'm going to be discussing my experiences being a short guy and the ways that I dealt with it. So if you're new to my channel and you like personal and spiritual development videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because I release new videos every Monday. And let's get right into it. So for a very long time, all throughout my early 20s to even late 20s, I was very insecure about being short. Didn't really, when you're growing up and you're short anyway when you're a kid, it's not necessarily something that you take notice of. But at the end of high school, I suppose, or when I left high school, that was when I started to notice it the most, because everyone begins growing, and I'm 5'6". I think I probably finished growing when I was, 15-ish, because I look back at some photos of high school and I see people that were my height. I was quite average height for someone of that age, but then it wasn't until like year 11, 16 and 17, year 11 and 12, where people started really growing, and some people even kept growing after high school too, but I definitely didn't. And this really played on my mind. It was very much, I was super insecure about it. It really affected me in many ways, because especially when it came to women, because girls always want, well, not always, but quite often, girls want to date someone who's their height or taller, or usually taller, which really, I guess, cut out a very large percentage of the girls. And especially because in Australia, girls are quite tall. I'm like the average height of a girl in Australia. So yeah, there are plenty of girls out there that are shorter than me, but even what I realized, even girls that are shorter than me, sometimes the shorter girls still want a guy that's much, much taller than them, sometimes 6 inches taller. So if I ever meet a girl who's like 5'3" or 5'4", then quite often I'd be too short for them, and that's okay. So this really did affect me in many ways with my confidence, and when I was out at night, for some reason everyone just seemed so tall. Girls always wear high heels, so that adds an extra challenge to the game, so to speak. And the funny thing is that people always would say, well, you take care of yourself, you're a good looking dude, you're muscly and toned. But for me, it was very much it was all about height for some reason. I don't know why. Because height's very much one of those things that people notice first thing. Well, that guy's tall, that girl's quite tall or short. So it really did play on my confidence a lot. And it wasn't until I moved overseas to London where I noticed a lot of guys that were shorter than me. Like in Australia, I would never see guys that were shorter than me. Very rarely. It might happen once every year. I don't know. And believe me, I was looking for them because I was very insecure about it. So yeah, in London, I just every day I'd see guys that just were 5 foot, 5'1", and my sister, she's 5 foot, and she wouldn't believe me. I would say I saw a guy who was like your height, and she just wouldn't believe me, and this would happen often. So I started to think, well, okay, maybe I'm not that short. Yes, I am under average height. Average height's about 5'9", 5'10" for guys, and maybe I'm not so short when I compare myself to other people. And I guess that's one of the biggest things, is that you should never compare yourself to other people, but it is very difficult not to sometimes, especially when, in all areas of life, really. But that's one thing I learned not to do in my life journey. So when I was in London, I started to notice guys that were a lot shorter than me. It made me feel, I'll be honest, it made me feel a lot better. So if you're liking this video so far, give me a thumbs up. If you're not liking it, give me a thumbs down, and comment below what your biggest takeaway has been so far. And the other thing that happened when I was in London is I started to take care of my dating life. I started to really, because I always believed I was pretty terrible with women, and because of that belief, I was. That's how powerful beliefs can be, or how powerful beliefs are. So when I was in London, I saw a dating coach. I ended up meeting, and I guess the funny thing is that over the years, throughout me being insecure about my height, I dated some girls at my height. Some were taller, and I guess what I'm saying is that sometimes girls don't care. Sometimes, like they say, attraction isn't a choice, and I believe that to be true. If a girl's attracted to you, if you can somehow be able to speak to her before she's filtered you out because you're not tall enough, then, and you can get her attracted, then it doesn't matter how tall you are. What girls really care about is being able to feel safe, and that's one of the main things. So, and I realize in a club situation it can be difficult because there are loads of tall guys, and it's very much a different environment to during the day. So when I was taking care of my dating life, I would go out during the day and approach women on the street in London, and there were lots of guys doing it. And I'd read of, I've heard of guys. I mean, look at Tom Cruise. I mean, yes, he's rich and famous, but he's 5'7", and he was married and dated girls that were a lot taller than him. So, and Seth Green, he's 5'4", same kind of thing. There are plenty of people out there that, and you would see people in public as well, guys that are shorter than the women. Now, it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. So, anyway, when I did start approaching women, and I met this amazing girl who was a little bit taller than me, and we dated for quite a long time, it really gave me the confidence and the certainty, but also the belief that, yeah, maybe height isn't such an important thing. And she also told me that she only dates guys that are taller than her. And a lot of girls will say that to you, but a lot of girls will say that they want a certain type of guy and then date somebody completely different. And that happens for both genders. Even guys will say, well, I'm looking for this kind of girl who does this, this, and this, but then the person they end up dating doesn't tick any of those boxes. So when I moved back to Australia, I no longer had this height insecurity. I no longer really cared about how tall I was. And to me, what it really comes down to is the confidence, because height is all about confidence in some ways. Yeah. And what I mean by that is that there are plenty of people, I mean, I'm sure you would have met some, who are really tall but also very unconfident, and vice versa. Just because you're short, it doesn't mean you have to be unconfident. Just the same as just if you're good looking, it doesn't mean that you have to be confident either. Because that is one thing that I've noticed, is that confidence is a state of mind. Confidence comes from within. You could be a short dude who's not that great looking and still have a lot of confidence, and women are attracted to confidence. That's what's going to win them over ultimately, among other things, but that's a very big part of it. And now when I go out, I don't really care. I don't really notice it so much. I notice tall people, of course, but I don't really go to, well, I wish I was 6 foot, or I wish I was, that person's height or that person's height. It doesn't bother me so. It doesn't really bother me. So I guess the biggest lesson I learned throughout this life journey, and being someone who was very insecure about the height for a very long time, is that when you're sure about yourself and you know who you are and you've got that confidence about where you're headed in life, then that you exude a different type of confidence. You exude a different energy, and people are attracted to that. So that's the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me,